Welcome to Learning Python with Turtle, Lesson 3. In this lesson, we're going to see how we can create multiple turtles and use them to draw, and some additional commands that we can use with the turtles to kind of distinguish them a little bit more and also to move them around. So let's get to it. All right, so we got our import turtle, we got our Bob equals turtle. Let's do a small program to have Bob draw a triangle. So I'm going to create a variable called sides, set it equal to 3. I'm going to calculate the angle in order to turn the turtle in order to draw a triangle. So that's 360 divided by sides. And I'm also going to create another variable for the distance. Now, in order to draw the triangle, we got to do a combination of forwards and lefts. So let's do that. And we'll say bob.left of angle. And I'm simply going to repeat this 3 times. Again, because the triangle has 3 sides. Let's go ahead and run it. And there we go. So now what I want to do is I want to add another turtle to the screen and then have that turtle draw. So let's create a variable Alice, and let's also make Alice a turtle. So to create multiple turtles on the screen, you simply just create another variable and set it equal to turtle.turtle. It's that simple. Let's go ahead and copy Bob's code. So I'm going to have Alice also draw a triangle. So I'm going to replace this with Alice, 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 and one last Alice. And I'm also going to have Alice draw her triangle to the right. So let's see what that looks like. All right, so we see we have a nice little pattern here of the 2 triangles on top of each other, with the top triangle being Bob and the bottom triangle being Alice. Now we know this because we're able to look at the code, but other than that, there'd be no way for us to distinguish which turtle drew what. So there is a way for us to change the color of a turtle, and that's with pen color. So you have to imagine the turtle having a pen attached to it, and that's how it's able to draw. So we're going to do pen color, and let's make Bob blue. Notice that I put the word blue in quotations, all right? Because if you don't, if you leave it like this, the computer is going to think that this is a variable, which it's not. We actually want the name of the color to be blue. And let's do the same thing for Alice. We'll do pen color, and we'll set it equal to, let's say, green. And let's run this. All right, so a little bit better. We can see here that the blue is on top and the green is on the bottom. So that means that this was Bob and this was Alice. But the lines look very thin. We're not getting that true strong feeling for the color. Well, there is a way to change the thickness of the line or the size of the pen that we use, and that is pen size. So one thing to know as you start learning programming, the creators of whatever language you're learning try to make it as easy as possible for you to remember. So they want to make it an extension of your natural language. So they try to use phrases that are representative of what you're trying to do. So pen size is an excellent name for the command to actually change the thickness of the line. So we'll do Bob pen size of 10, and let's do the same thing for Alice. Pen size of 10. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, so it definitely looks a lot nicer. I mean, if you wanted to go a whole other step, we can make it 20. And you'll start to see that with the thickness of the line, you start to get a different feel for the design. All right, so now let's say I wanted to move Alice so that the design of her triangle is up here. Well, there is a command called goTo that will allow us to send Alice to a location. Now, think of this like a piece of graph paper, where this is your y-axis and this is your x-axis, with where the turtles start being the origin. So this is an x and a y of 0, 0. So from there, we can kind of move the turtles around. So I'm simply going to move Alice up. So I'm not going to change it to x value. So it's still going to be at x equals 0. But I'm simply going to move Alice up. Let's say 150. And let's see what that looks like. So I'm not quite sure if you saw that, but at the very beginning, there was a line that was drawn. Then Bob drew his triangle, and then Alice drew her triangle. So you can deduce that when you move to a location using the goto, it also draws a line. So in some cases, you might actually want that. In other cases, you just simply want to move to a location without drawing a line. Now I want to go back to that analogy of the fact that the turtle has a pen attached to it. So in order for us to move to a location without drawing something, we have to tell the turtle to lift up the pen. And there's a command called pen up. So let's see what that does. So notice Alice moved up without drawing the line, but then also notice it doesn't draw any lines. Why? Because the pen is still up. We have to instruct the turtle to put the pen back down. So it's very common to do these three lines together. The fact that we're going to lift the pen, go to a location, and then put the pen back down so we can continue drawing. I'm also going to lower this down a little bit. Let's say 120. Again, why 120? It was just for design purposes. And that's one of the things I definitely encourage you, now that you're learning a little bit more, is to play around with the turtles, play around with the colors, especially now that you have colors. There's a lot of things you can draw with just these few commands. All right, so let's go back to the presentation, review what we've done. So in this lesson, we saw we could create multiple turtles by simply just creating multiple variables and setting each variable equal to turtle.turtle. Additionally, we also explored some functions that we can do, some commands that we can use with the turtle in order to change its size, the size of the line, the color of the line, to lift up the pen, go to a location and put the pen back down so that we don't leave a line behind. So hopefully you're excited about creating your own designs and enjoy.